I've been thinking a lot about the sexual harassment scandals that are rocking Hollywood and politics, I guess, to a lesser extent. And I've realized that most people are very bogged down in the superficial elements, of what's going on here. And not many people, I don't think, yet see the bigger picture. I didn't even see it myself until yesterday when I read about Gal Gadot saying she will not return to the Wonder Woman franchise unless Brett Ratner, a director who's been accused of rape, sexual harassment, and belittling women on his sets, is removed from the project as the co-producer. It really started to click to me then what was really going on. And what is really going on? Well, it's nothing short of a female takeover of Hollywood. Here's what's obvious to me. For many years, Hollywood has operated in such a way that many of the actresses that have become household names have slept their way to the top. Men in positions of power in Hollywood have made or destroyed careers based on who was willing to hop onto their erection, and take a little ride. And we all knew this was going on because Hollywood really didn't hide it very much. It was never really considered a scandal. It was kind of the butt of a joke.
Hey, it ain't that hard, man. I filmed the motherfucker, right? Then I yell, cut. Then I run the fuck out of here, go to my trailer, because I got more white girls in there than the first lifeboat on the Titanic. And they all want a part in my movie. And I got just a part for them.
So that Hollywood of old, that was the thing. And it existed from a long time ago up until very recently. And all those women who tolerated it, they're now a thing of the past. They ain't putting up with it anymore. The media has become their ally. And once people took the media seriously, this is one of the few instances, I should say, where the media was taken seriously. Because, the media has been taking its fucking licks as of late. But on this issue, no one really fought the media because the left is okay with it because they want this female takeover of Hollywood to happen. The right is okay with it because they hate Hollywood and love to see these cocky, self-important stars and insiders fall. So neither side is pushing back against this narrative at all. So for the first time in a long time, the media is being trusted on something. So we had a Hollywood system where men were in control, and the way for a woman to climb the ladder was basically to climb a ladder of dicks, the dicks of directors and producers and anyone else who had any clout. And that system, if we're honest, was completely fucked up. The new way things are going to work now over the next 10 years or so is that women are going to climb the ladder by making it clear that their accusations are more powerful than any big shot producer or director or star. Women are showing Hollywood, hey, the media's on our side, the people are on our side, so you're gonna fucking fall in line. And Hollywood is falling in line. Every man who gets accused of bad behavior by a woman is being torn down. Even men as powerful as Harvey Weinstein. I have very little doubt in my mind that Brett Ratner is next on the chopping block and that he's going to be gone to make way for Gal Gadot and her demands. Do you remember when the news broke on Kevin Spacey, the allegations that he'd attempted to fuck a 14-year-old boy? And the media acted a little weird about that one at first, didn't they? They didn't do their usual instant condemnation. They kind of tried to save Kevin Spacey. They tried to make the accusations against him more about him coming out of the closet. There was tons of headlines. Kevin Spacey comes out of the closet as gay. And people weren't buying it. They're like, no, we still care about the fact that he tried to fuck a 14-year-old boy. So the media changed tactics, and they changed it really fast. But initially, they tried to minimize and downplay the Spacey accusations. Now, why is that? Could it be because Spacey's victims were male? Could it be that they didn't want to highlight the Spacey narrative because they wanted to focus on the female victims and the male victimizers? I mean, I can only speculate, but yeah, I think that's what it is. But if my speculation is correct, let's take a moment to reflect on where this leaves us as anti-SJWs. The SJW narratives have long been pushed by the mainstream media, and we all understand that. They're taking over Hollywood. They've got a pretty tight grip on all the major social media networks, and they've already made serious overtures towards taking over YouTube as well. At what point do we look at this state of affairs and admit to ourselves that the anti-SJWs have lost? When social justice warriors run the media, and they run entertainment, and they run social media, and they're already closing in on everything they don't yet run, I think it's hard to make the case anymore that this is even a fight. While we focused on the hearts and minds of everyday people, they focused on taking over every communications platform they could, and ultimately that was the better strategy. Sargon of Akkad has long been gone from Twitter, and now my Twitter page was recently marked as sensitive content. The adpocalypse that so many YouTubers have suffered from is entirely something that was pushed by the media at the behest of SJWs. And SJWs are the ones who have been brought into the YouTube fold to get things back in line here at YouTube. So wherever you look, we've lost. The only things we've got are sites that no one goes to, like vid.me and minds.com and other obscure shit that no one cares about. Every meaningful platform is under SJW control, or it's under SJW influence. So, some of you will take consolation, I guess, in the fact that we've got a very anti-SJW president. This is why Trump won kind of crowd. But he's wildly unpopular, and I seriously doubt he's going to get a second term. I still have my doubts about whether or not he can actually complete his first term. So, what's the silver lining here, if there is one? Well, I think there's actually a few. First of all, there's a tendency for the pendulum, when it swings too far one way, to swing on back. I think that if you're hoping for that to happen soon, you're going to be disappointed. But it is going to happen. When the SJW narrative is being pushed at everyone from all sides, people are going to get fed up with it, and a lot of us already are. But I suspect that a huge pushback is coming probably in 5 to 10 years. So we can cross our fingers and hope for that. A positive thing in the meantime, and maybe some of you won't agree with me on this one, I think a female takeover of Hollywood might actually be good for the film industry. Hollywood has long been suffering from a bankruptcy of ideas, and maybe this shakeup is what it needs right now to get some unconventional stuff made. I mean, not all SJW slanted entertainment is bad. I think BoJack Horseman, a Netflix show, which has pushed several SJW narratives in the history of its show, is actually quite good. So maybe we'll get some new voices, some new ideas. That could be a recipe for a new renaissance. And even if it's not, maybe it'll at least change the way in which Hollywood fails. Then we can at least have some more interesting ways for movies to suck. Another thing that we can be hopeful about is that intersectional feminism is a cancer even to itself. We've already seen examples of these ideas eating each other. Like a few months back, some Jewish gays were kicked out of a march because of their support for Israel. Black Lives Matter, they took over a gay pride parade because they felt that only gay black people are important. These sorts of oppression Olympics are not going to go away just because SJWs have control. They're going to get worse. When you turn feelings of offendedness and oppression into cudgels to bludgeon people with, you create a situation where different subclasses of identities are going to be constantly competing with each other. I'm right because I'm gay. Well, I'm right because I'm trans, and in the weird game of paper, rock, scissors that this is, trans beats gay. Well, I'm black, and we're the most oppressed group ever. Well, I'm black and gay and trans, so I must be right. And it's all going to fall apart as these groups infight and self-segregate. It's already begun, but it's only going to get worse. The terrible news, if you're a white male, is that your opinion in this brave new world is going to count for very little. Even as your own voice is drowned out, you're still going to be told that you're privileged and that now is the time for you to shut up and listen. Now, I don't plan to shut up, but I've always listened, just not in the way people expect me to. You're expected to listen uncritically, unquestioningly, and that's something I could simply never do. So that's the state of things now as I see them, and those are my predictions for where things are headed. And predictions are dangerous things because you never know what's really going to happen. Maybe we'll go to war with North Korea and none of this will even matter to people. Maybe a huge pushback is coming far sooner than I think it is. Who knows? But from what I see now, we're undergoing a huge cultural shift that's going to totally redefine value systems that are currently in place, where being white and being male is basically a recipe for being ignored, and certain ideas that were hitherto tolerated will vanish from the public square for at least a decade. So hold on to your asses. We're in for some interesting times. I'm TJ Kirk. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, share this video, give it a thumbs up, all that good shit. Peace the fuck out.
Cut you down, sooner or later, gotta cut you down. You throw your rock and hide your hand. Working in the dark, get your fellow man. Show us God, make black and white what's done.